Friday, good afternoon to our beautiful listeners and viewers. Thank you so much for tuning in. It is day 6 of the Niuean Language Week 2021. And the theme for this year is Kia Tupuolaola e Moui he Tagata Niue, which means May the Tagata Niue thrive. And joining me on Pacific Health Talanoa show today is one of the amazing and awesome Niuean leaders, Lynn Lolokini Pavihi. Lynn has been serving her Niue community wholeheartedly in Aotearoa, New Zealand, and Niue for more than 25 years. Since 2020, she has been the Associate Principal of Favona Primary School after teaching at Peninsula Primary School, Avondale College, and Fairburn Primary School. Recently, Lynn was the communications lead for the Niue mass vaccination event held from the 23rd to the 25th September 2021. Lynn is highly recognized in her role as the on-air announcer, reporter, Niue news reader for the Pacific Media Network on the PMN Niue radio program on Tuesday evenings from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m., a role which she has undertaken for more than 7 years. Presenter for the Niue COVID-19 video messages for the Niue community in conjunction with Sunpix Bright Sunday, and as a young female leader, educator, announcer, community advocate, mother, daughter, and sister, Lynn has a depth of language and culture that is rare to find among her age group and peers. Lynn's approach to teaching Wangahau Niue ensures a safe space is created for other Niue adults and young people who have had negative experiences when trying to connect with their Niuean language. And as a young Niuean woman, her leadership and ability to serve at all levels is a testament to her ability to do this with ease while being bold and maintaining integrity. Joining me on the show today to talk more about the Language Week and as a second one, the second Niuean mass vaccination event coming up is Mrs. Lynn Lolokini Pavihi. Welcome on the show, Lynn. Good to have you.
Kia mutolosi ko mai ki whanongono mai ki whakaholoanga nei mo Lorenzo. Munui nai whahitapu he Wangahau Niue. Warm Niue greetings from the capital of Polynesia, Niue, Rock of Polynesia.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, Lee. Now, you mentioned that Niue is the Rock of Polynesia. Can you share a little bit about that, please?
So Niue is an uplifted coral atoll. There's only one island, 14 villages on the island, less than 2,000 people residing on the island, only one primary school, one high school, 20 members of parliament in Niue, and we do not have any traffic lights, but we have plenty of unga, coconut crab, plenty of nice organic Niue talo, the best in the Pacific. Plenty of fish, but it's an uplifted coral atoll, and it's very high. Some of the cliffs in Niue are pretty high, and that's why we've been nicknamed the Rock of Polynesia, because it's actually it's a big rock. It takes about less than an hour to go around the whole island.
Less than an hour. Wow. Now, I see that you are wearing a beautiful ulahihi. Now, can you share? I mean, I heard that's quite expensive in Niue, but can you share a little bit about the ulahihi that you're wearing, please?
Yeah, so these are our Kahuahihi, and the whole process, just to get to make a strand of Kahuahihi is very draining and time consuming, and you need to have a lot of patience to do it. So these little hihi are little, like they're little snails, and they only appear when it rains. So you find them in big rocky areas or cliff tops. So you collect them, and then you put them in you soak them in salt water or rainwater because it does have that really bad smell. And the whole process, it takes weeks just to get the smell to disappear, that really stingy smell. And then what happens is we don't paint it, we don't dye it. The actual color is this. So the golder it is, the more high value or authentic it is. So when you get all these tiny little shells, once the smell has gone and you've dried them, you repeat the process, then you lay them out to dry, and then you start picking little holes. So you get like a little compass or a little needle, and you start picking the holes for you to put through the not the string, like and then you make these kahoa. So one strand, so I don't know, there's probably thousands of tiny little hihi in it.
Wow.
Is cost close to $50 now on the island. So I'm wearing like probably 20 of
5,
these. So this was yes. So this was gifted to me by my parents for my graduation 3 years ago.
Wow, Lynn, what I like about the process of making those ulahihi is it just sounds like that's one thing that brings the whole family together, because it sounds like it is a family project. And that's another thing, a great thing about Niue is all these artifacts, all this, arts and crafts. It means something, bringing your family together. Now, I'm aware that you are the winner of the Ministry of Education Pacific Education Award at the 2020 Pacific Sunpix Awards. Can you share with our audience and our viewers about that award and what it means to you, please, Lynn?
It was, I think it was this week last year that I received the award. That came as a surprise. I did not expect that. But to be the recipient and to be the very first Niue person to receive the Ministry of Pacific People's Ministry of Education Award was it was a very humbling experience. I did not accept the award as me independently, but I accept the award on behalf of all my Pacifica colleagues, my Pacifica teachers, my Pacifica students, the Pacifica, our parents, our community, our wider community. I'm only a little part of the jigsaw puzzle that helps to connect all the pieces in the learning journey, in the education learning journey for a lot of our students and a lot of our families. That was very surprised. The first question that I asked when they informed me was, what does it mean? What is it? Like, what does it, it was very, proud moment for me, but the credit lies to a whole collective people, and it was a collective effort. But I also want to pay tribute to my ancestors on my Samoan side and my Niue side for being very strong pillars for laying the foundations of strong Christian values in my upbringing, as well as remembering all that, fa'aloalo, respect, whakalilifu, and, all the important values that your parents embed in you and your grandparents embed you, for you to be able to be a positive role model and be a positive citizen.
Wow, it goes back to the ulahi that you're wearing, Lynn. You are the ulahi maker, and then you collect all this hihi, put them together, tie them together with them, and walk together. And no doubt that your family was right behind you, your tautua, your service. And I was surprised when you, when your name was read out as a recipient of that award. And I was at the ceremony. I was one proud islander. Well done, Lynn. Now, let's go to the language week for this year. The theme, May the Tagata Niue thrive in New Zealand. What does the theme mean to you, and how do you implement it in the work that you do, in the many hats that you wear?
It's not to say that our Tagata Niue aren't thriving. It's really to encapsulate the whole essence of a Tagata Niue and the many pillars in like a Tagata Niue's life. For example, service, there's sports, there's cultural, there's our religion, your spiritual beliefs, cultural aspects, education. There's so many different pillars in the upbringing of a Tagata Niue. And for me, May the Tagata Niue Thrive really depicts the meaning of, there are so many things in so many ways that a Niue person can stand tall and proud. It doesn't mean that you only understand part of the Wangahau Niue or you're part Niuean, that you're not thriving. It means that, keep continuing that learning journey, keep that connection, because for some of us, a lot of our Niue people are born here in New Zealand. I mean, the core population of Niue are living here in New Zealand, around about 30 or odd thousand Niueans living here in New Zealand, whereas there's only about 1,700, 1,800 living on the Rock, and a few other thousands in Australia and somewhere else. But the core population of our Niue people are here. So we want to, the theme really, it's like a motivation saying, come on, let's stand tall, stand proud, and tūtokanga e Tagata Niue, stand tall and proud as a Tagata Niue.
Now, the Wangahau Niue in New Zealand, Lynn, do you believe or do you think that we've got enough resources, and non-Pacific cultures and non-Pacific languages are a massive, massive challenge, to our Pacific languages. A lot of our, whānau, a lot of our kids are now speaking English as their very first language. And do you think, and I'm also aware that you are a Niuean teacher at the Pacific Education Center. Do you think we can maintain and we have enough resources to make sure that we can maintain and keep our languages alive?
I think we have got resources now, but there needs to be a lot more growth and development for more innovative, engaging resources to really engage with our youth, to really engage with our Niue, New Zealand-born Niueans. We have got so many Niue children, so many young Niue families who are hungry to learn Wangahau Niue, who are hungry to find information about, or making that connection. Because, I see that there is a disconnect between our Niue people, the learning of Wangahau Niue in Niue and over here. So for me, as a tutor, as a facilitator, translator, whaiaonga, my role and responsibility is to breach the gap, is to find strategies or ways that we can actually help bring the resources alive, make them engaging, make them motivational. So we have resources, but I think we need to produce more resources that really go with how times are changing, and we just need to be a little bit more innovative and making sure that we are actually connecting with our children. We are actually making that connection. Yes, we have experts in Wangahau Niue that are in our households, like our matuas, our grandparents, but once they pass on, where are we going to source the information, or to source the authenticity of the Niue language and all the teachings and the learning? So, might as well now start creating videos, or, because I do know there is a Niue app coming up, and I am also part of the implementation of the Niue app.
Wow, Lynn, and we definitely need more Lynn in our Niuean community to drive and to keep the the teaching going and pass on that knowledge down to our next generation. Now, we have been in lockdown for more than 2 months now, Lynn. I'm aware that it has had a massive impact on our Pacific community. How does this lockdown impact, the Wangahau Niue, in your circle, especially in other Niuean community groups?
Yeah, it's been a very challenging time for a lot of our Pacifica peoples, but for a lot, for our Niue community, we weren't taught, or we weren't prepared for a lockdown. We never imagined that we will be restricted to be in our households for this long. So because we are, Pacifica people are strong, resilient navigators, strong, resilient, and very competent, people, we tend to try and, go, but we also have to, I remember, with my families, we do our daily morning prayers, which is a lot of our Pacifica families and our Niue families, we do that. But making sure that what we're doing is also making sure that our health and safety are paramount, that we are eating well, less coconut cream, but also making sure that I am being the best mother that I am to my two children. I am being the best role model. Times are hard. There are days when, if it's raining, we're stuck inside. We're lucky sometimes when it's sunny, the kids go out, jump on the trampoline, or go out and play cricket on the deck, or, run around outside. Whereas, when it's raining, or, we are literally confined to the inside space. But for me as a mother, I try to restrict the time that my two children go on their learning devices, because I know it does affect their eyes, it does affect their mental well-being, and so they have a limit of 2 hours a day allowed on a device, unless it's a Zoom or a Zoom class with their teachers. But I have in my lounge, I have a box of board games, playing cards, chess. It's family time, but you have to make sure that you're not over powering create some flexibility, when giving instructions to your children. I know sometimes when I tell my son to go and, wash the dishes and put them away, sometimes it's like telling him to go and plant a whole row, a plantation of taros. But now, when we actually sit down and explain, it's okay. Like, you can, he can sing and do whatever you want, but the chores needs to be done. But, things like that, and just making sure that, that the household is, we've got plenty of food. I actually, Lorenzo, to be honest with you, I actually need a padlock for my pantry and my fridge. If you can find anything, send them my way.
Oh my gosh, Lynn, now, we may not be able to make ulahihi here in Aotearoa, to bring our families together. But Lynn has shared that there's a lot of activities that us as families can do in our own home to entertain and to keep our kids in great company. And don't forget, we still need to do our devotion, like Lynn said, evening devotion, morning devotion, get them to read, the good word, in the Bible. But anyways, Lynn, I'm going to ask you to put on your hat as an author. Now, I'm aware that recently you released a new book called Talanoa in Wangahau Niuean. Can you share a little bit about that book, please?
Sure. So this book, I actually wrote it last year, and it was supposed to be launched last year, but because I had the porphyry to welcome me as an associate principal to Favona, plus the Sunpix award, and plus COVID, I decided that I'll park it and launch it this year. So it's 1 year old, but hey, it's something that I've always wanted to do. So I saw a dilemma, and how, just looking at my two children, there's lack of engaging resources or books to keep them motivated to learn the wangahau. So I decided to put pen to paper and came up with this book, Taulanu Kehekehe. So this is my first book for the brand, which is Sifa Musiuni publication, but this is my fourth book. My first three books that I wrote, that was for the Ministry of Education. So one was called Whakataila, which is Try It. One was called the Matawhanga Yavasele, which is the beach in Avasele, and the other one is called Whewheua He Pela Pela, playing in the mud. So those were narrative-based stories written for intermediate level. And that was to help with the learning and teaching of Wangahau Niue in schools. But this time I decided I will do something, and I've also got some myths and legends books coming up before Christmas. COVID have actually done some, pushbacks in terms of releasing these books, but I'm so blessed. I have to to give my utmost respects and acknowledge the Heavenly Father for giving me the wisdom and the knowledge. For my families and friends for nurturing me and bringing me up and making sure that I am that I follow through with family values and making sure that everything I'm doing is correct and is and always I remember my grandparents always telling me, remember to be humble. Even my grandmother, my Samoan grandmother, Esther Peters from Wailoa Faleaka, very, very instrumental woman in my upbringing.
Lynn, love the motivation behind you writing this book. You mentioning your kids, and you did it for your kids. Even though it is 1 year old, I tell you that this is a living resource for Wangahau Niue and is going to help a lot of generations coming. Now, what was your creative process behind writing this book, Lynn?
So
I'm stealing some ideas from you.
So as a teacher, it does get frustrating when you're trying to like Google or go online to order some books to help with the teaching of Wangahau Niue. And then it's like there's no stories or no books or make up your own. And I was thinking, I can't keep making my own resources for, because I teach, I was teaching at PEC, that's Introduction to Basic Wangahau Niue and Everyday Conversation, as well as teaching Wangahau Niue, the Whawona bilingual unit, and and trying to teach my kids. So there's, I'm forever making resources and laminating them. And I was thinking, actually, I might as well just publish some books because I've done 3 earlier on, but those ones weren't for sale. Those were for the ministry. But this one with the brand, I'm now able to, be, like it belongs to me. Like, and, I can actually help those families who have been craving and hungry for learning resources. So I did this to cater for the learning needs of our babies, of our children. And the good thing is the images that I use in my books are drawn by a cousin of mine, Chad Robertson, who's half Niuean from my village and half Samoan. So supporting our own Pacifica people. And making sure that like the picture there, like unga, the picture here on the cover, that's a coconut crab, and the green CCC, the grass skirt. So trying to make sure that the things that I'm using or I'm writing about are actually authentic Niue things.
Well, that would be a very yummy meal you've got there, the cassava and the Anyways, Lynn, how do you see the future of your work, as an announcer on Radio 531 PI, PMN Niue, as an author, as a full-time mother, as an associate principal, too many hats. How do you see the future of your awesome work?
Well, if you have a good support network, you're able to go places, you're able to enjoy what you do. I have got a very good supportive network, and that is not just my family. To be honest, some of the things, like my family did not know, Lorenzo, that I released the book until they saw the live on PMN Niue. That's how, I keep my things, not a secret, but, I'm not, I don't like, attention or, blasting thing. Oh, look at this. No. So yeah, I have a very supportive group of friends, colleagues, teachers, my PMN, Pacific Media Network colleagues, PEC colleagues, parents, communities, board of trustees that I've worked, and also my two children. Sometimes, there have been a few times when I question myself. I sit back and I question, is it worth it? Is it worth all the late nights? Is it worth giving up my time? Because I live in West Auckland, driving all the way to Manukau to work on the PMN show for 4 hours every Tuesday for the last 7 years. Is it worth it? And then, when I actually think about it, I sleep on it, wake up, say my morning prayer, and actually it is worth it. Because at the end of the day, I'm not doing this to gain attention or for the money. I'm actually doing this because I'm very passionate about my Wangahau Niue. I do not want to see my language dying. UNESCO has identified that Wangahau Niue is becoming an endangered language, and less than 12% of our Niue people in New Zealand are able to use it. So I put my hand up. I'm like, yeah, I can help because I am able to help. I'm able to help. So that's why I do it.
Well, thank you so much, Lynn. You're such a great leader. I'm also aware that you are the events coordinator for the Huki Ke Pui Pui a Niue Vaccination Drive-through in Auckland coming up next weekend. Can you share about that event and also share about the response from our Niuean community to the last event?
Yes. So I'm the lead coordinator for the promotions and the communications team. So there's about 10 of the committee. So basically, I feed back to the working committee, which is, there's Dr. Colin, there's about 10 of the health professionals in that group. So we do all the advertisements, the promotions, the flyers, everything. Our very first round one vaccination, we managed to vaccinate around 930 people for 3 days. To us as Niue people, that's massive because we've never done anything like that. And for some of our Niue people, because of all the restrictions, and that happened in alert level 3, we were unable to reach out to other communities out of Auckland, but we were able to connect with our Niue communities here. It was amazing. That was for 3 days. We started on a Thursday, which was a bit slow, and then on Saturday, we managed to we exceeded our target of 500 on that Saturday, and to us, that was amazing. We have got our round 2 Niue mass vaccination drive-through the next week on Friday, the 29th, and Saturday, the 30th of October. And this was really to end our Niuean Language Week. And that is going to be a drive-through 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. at number 15 Robertson Road in Favona Mangere at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Same process. We are going to have some freebies, some giveaways. We're really going to pump it up this time. And yeah, come and, one of the highlights for us was getting our people to decorate their cars and dress their cars up like they're doing at the Takai, because the Takai in Niue is an actual event that we have roll out at the beginning of every year, where we go around the whole island throwing out lollies and money or food. So that's a lot of our youth. We're really wanting to target our youth, especially those who are 12 years old and over, and really making sure that the science is explained correctly by our trusted Niue professionals, our trusted Niue health professionals, and also our Niue nurses. So it's, I'm so excited because we're going to go again with our round 2, but it's not just open to Niueans, it's open to anyone who wants to get their second vaccination to come through next week, Friday and Saturday at the number 15 Robertson Road.
You heard it from the our community leader, Lynn. The Rock drive-through vaccinations events next Friday and Saturday to 29th and the 30th of October at number 15 Robertson Road, Favona at the LDS Chapel. I'll see you there. But I saved this very last question for our Talanoa today about health. Now, there is a massive impact. This lockdown. Our people are now turning to unhealthy diets. Our people are now because the gyms are closed and, we are being restricted, Can you share something, an advice or a feedback or something about health and well-being so that our people can take, with them and use it, implement it, and start using it after our Talanoa today?
Awesome. So what I try and do is wake up in the morning, and if it's nice and sunny, I go for a walk around the block with either my son or my daughter, depending on who wakes up early. And I try and do that daily, just to give me some sort of, that's to set the pace for the day, reflection time. But if it's raining outside, I come through and I turn the TV on and I try and go on to the Zumba classes, or you just Google or go on, there's like some 15-minute classes for you to join in, or just skipping or doing something active. But remembering that the food we consume may not be the nicest or healthiest food. I know I love my coconut cream. I love my kalo and
Corned beef?
yeah. Yes, corned beef. So what I try and do is try and limit those rich island flavors in our, those rich island food, to try and have it probably twice or 3 times a week. Try and have, instead of having taro every day, we try and have rice every second day, or something light. But because I do know that our health and our mental well-being is very important. When we are stressed, or when we begin to feel, some sort of, like you feel tired, fatigue, you don't want to cook anymore, you just want to drive up, order some food, think about actually home cooked meal is way better. And then all those other fats and stuff that you go in, when you order online, but making sure that you still continue to have your family time, your family talanoa. In my household, when it's lunchtime for everyone. No devices on the lunch table. When it's dinner time, it's dinner time for everyone. No devices. And when we're actually eating, we're talking. How was your lesson today with your Zoom class? What are we going to do tomorrow? What game should we play? What board game should we play after this? Oh, who's going to do the dishes? Or, making sure that you still have those, maintain those family routines. Because the moment you sort of try and slip away, or, allow something to happen and to substitute it, it does have those pushbacks. So yeah, we still wake up early in the morning. When it's 8 o'clock, that's our breakfast time, together as a whole household. And we're trying to limit our sugar intake now. And one good thing about this lockdown is coffee, because I'm very addicted to my flat white. So as a teacher, I'll probably have 5 or 4 coffees a day, but I've been limiting myself to just the one. So
just the one coffee.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Now, Lynn Lolokini Pavihi, what can I say? Whakawelahi for coming on the show, the Pacific Health Talanoa today, and share about, the wisdom that God has blessed you with, the knowledge, the talents, the many hats that you wear to serve and tautua our community. A young Niuean female leader, educator, announcer, community advocate, mother, and an associate principal at Favona Primary School. Thank you so much for your time, Aline. May God bless you, and we will see you at the Rock of Vaccination Drive event next Friday and Saturday. Thank you so much.
Pakawelahi maha ki Lorenzo, oi tulutulau kia manuina.
There you go. Lynn Pavihi, a Niuean community leader, sharing about her journey to our listeners and viewers. And, we need more Lynn. We need more Lynn in New Zealand, Aotearoa, to drive, to deliver, to teach, and also to educate Wangahau and Niue. Thank you so much for tuning in, and that is a wrap up for Niuean Language Week on Pacific Health Talanoa with Blue TV and Total Healthcare PHO. Have a great long weekend, and make sure you get vaccinated, because it is the only way to protect yourself and your whānau, your ainga, your family from COVID-19. Whakawelahi.